Welcome back to the 80 Diaries Book Club. I'm Abby.
And I'm Emily.
How you doing, Emily?
You know, I'm doing pretty good.
That's so good.
Yeah, we're having a good day.
That's so good.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Great. So excited. I am so excited. I'm on a high right now because last episode was such a low. But I'm thriving right now. I'm feeling great. So this is very exciting stuff.
It's really crazy how recording mid-Saturday versus late Wednesday
versus 8 p.m. on a Wednesday really makes a difference.
After a long day of work. Yeah. Really just changes everything.
The whole outcome of an episode nearly.
Isn't that crazy?
It really is wild. Anyways, well, welcome back to our second book club episode. We're so excited to be back. We had so much fun with the book episode.
We did.
Which, if you didn't watch that, we are reviewing The Hunger Games. We're talking about The Hunger Games, the whole series right now, but we're starting with the first book.
Yep.
And Release order, correct. And we reviewed the book 2 weeks ago. So you can go find that on our page.
It's an hour and 40 minutes long.
It is, and it slays. It's an hour and 40 of slay.
It is. We could have gone on longer.
Yeah, we stopped ourselves
at an
hour 40.
That was our us restraining ourselves, quite literally. But yeah, it was great. So we're excited to get into the movie.
So today we're talking about the movie, The Hunger Games, the movie.
Yes.
Let's get some facts about this movie.
Okay, let's hear them.
Let's talk about it. So obviously, based off the very beautiful, very wonderful book written by Suzanne Collins called The Hunger Games.
It is true.
It came out in 2012.
It did. I remember this midnight premiere thoroughly because it was my sophomore year of high school, and my teacher had actually rented out 2 theaters and was selling tickets to students.
I feel like I remember that.
And so
which feels illegal.
Well,
yeah. Well, I know the teacher, you know.
I was like, you know the teacher. But yeah, so then we all would buy tickets from him and we all went, and it was just kids from my class.
Foreshadowing.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
sorry.
But I didn't really see this. I didn't go see the midnight premiere of this.
It was really fun though. I do remember thoroughly loving that premiere. It was so much fun. It was such a fun I don't know. It was one of the first midnight premieres I went to where I could drive myself because Judy didn't come. It was kind of a big deal. It was
that is a big deal.
This is me coming into
your adulthood
at the ripe age of 16.
That is so slay of you.
I know, right?
All right. It was directed by Gary Ross.
Which I was surprised because I thought Francis Lawrence directed all of them.
Not the first one. I was going to say he did the first one.
Yeah.
And no more. Which is interesting to me.
Which I'm interested to rewatch the other movies again now to see
if I can tell a difference.
Because I think I'm going to. Because I haven't watched this movie in It's been a while. I normally watch Catching Fire if I'm going to watch.
Yeah, me too.
Or The Last Mockingjay or something. Or Ballad. But, so I don't necessarily just go to this one. And so I feel like I was, really kind of watching it for the first time. Not really, but, there were a lot of things I was like, oh.
I forgot about that.
I forgot. And just, the style that it was shot. And so, I mean, when I found out it wasn't directed by Francis Lawrence, I was surprised, but also
it makes sense
surprised.
Because it is. I think it is different from the other ones.
Yeah.
The screenplay was written by Gary Ross, Suzanne Collins, and Billy Ray. So I think it's really cool because a lot of adaptations the author doesn't really have a lot to do with, but Suzanne did and does.
She's so involved
with these, which I think is why they are so good.
Yeah. I think anytime you have the writer heavily involved, that's when you get some of the best work. I mean, you look at never mind. I was going to say, you look at Twilight.
That is the best work.
It is the best work. I'm so sorry.
Honestly, though, those were...
It's exactly what the books are.
It is exactly what the book is. Just because the book isn't good, so therefore the movie wasn't good, one of the best movies ever made. Don't get me wrong. Doesn't mean,
It's true. But yeah, Stephanie was heavily involved in it. Suzanne.
Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those things. So.
All right, for cast, which I'm sure you guys all know, but we'll go through a couple of them. Jennifer Lawrence is our Katniss Everdeen. Josh Hutcherson is our Peeta Mellark. Mm-hmm. Liam Hemsworth is Gale Hawthorne. Woody Harrelson is our Hamish Abernathy.
Oh my gosh.
Stanley Tucci is Caesar Flickerman. And Donald Sutherland's President Snow. Lenny Kravitz is Cinna. Anyone else? Elizabeth Banks is Effie.
Those are kind of like the hard hitters.
Those are the hard hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else before we get into it?
I just want to say, perfectly cast.
Genuinely, I would say, and this is something for every single one of the Hunger Games movies, perfectly cast. And that is such a hard thing to do, especially for a book adaptation, because people have they already have a vision of what these characters look like. They were perfectly cast.
I mean, I know there's like always controversy about Jennifer as Katniss, but I still think she was perfect.
I think she was perfect.
Again, like after rewatching it, seeing how she portrayed it and everything is so...
And like just having read the book, I think she is such
perfect. So I feel like it's a perfect casting. I truly don't feel like they've ever miscast anybody.
No.
And I shout out to you guys.
Like even the like tributes were perfectly cast.
Yeah.
Like even teeny little characters, perfectly cast.
I love it. So yeah, that's kind of my overall arching thoughts. Great movie.
Great. I will say, I think watching this, I haven't read this book since 2008, whenever, like right around when it came out.
Yeah.
And then I've seen the movie multiple times since then, obviously. Agreed. But I haven't read the book and seen the movie ever right next to each other, I don't think. Either,
yeah.
And I will say it did... Like, I understand why people have problems with film or book-to-film adaptations. Because there were things missing. There were things that were different that, like, are just better in the book. Like, and I get... Agree. And I understand that, like, you have limits when you're turning a book into a movie. So, like, it's still a great movie. I didn't have problems with it. But it did remind me a little bit of, like, you've had problems with book-to-film adaptations before. This is why.
Yeah. I agree. There were, and I made note of a lot of things that I was like, oh, I missed this from the book. Yeah. Or, whatever. And so, but overall, though, like, standalone.
Great movie.
Really great movie. Like, so good. Yeah. So.
And honestly, I think as good as they could have done it.
Yeah.
Really.
I thought it was really good. I would be interested to see a Francis Lawrence take on it.
Oh, 100%.
Because like other movies he's done so well. Yeah. But I really loved it overall. So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so one thing that I thought was interesting that we opened up on that was different from the book, is that it opens with like text across the screen.
Yes.
Of this, like the thing that they are supposed to be like listening to at the reaping, to give us the beginning,
like context. I think a little bit.
And I thought that was really like I was like, oh, this comes later.
Yeah.
Like not crazy later, but later.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of an interesting way to start the movie.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. That kind of thing usually bugs me a little bit because I feel like that's you don't have enough faith in the viewer to understand what's happening or what's going on, that you kind of have to give this precursor to something.
Yeah.
And I think especially this movie, 90% of people were going in having read the book. Yeah. Like I think it takes away kind of a level of trust between
I get it.
Director and viewer.
Yeah.
But it was like it did set the scene well,
yeah.
I think.
No, I completely agree. But yeah, so we kind of get started. We start just kind of walking through District 12 a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I always found that this was interesting because this is a different District 12 than we'll ever see again. Yep. Because they wouldn't let him come back.
They wouldn't let him film it there again.
Which is crazy.
So sad.
Because
it's perfect. It's literally perfect.
I thought it was just really interesting to see. And it really did set the tone of like how poor and desolate District 12 is. And yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked about this in the book. There's only, 8,000 residents of District 12. And I think they did a really good job of showing that.
Yeah.
Like, how desolate it was, how run down it was, how poor it was. Everyone was bartering or just trying to do whatever they could to get some food. They have the coal mines. Everything like that. I feel like it really showed how there weren't that many people, like... At the reaping, you can see everyone, and there's not that many people. It kind of shows just how poor and run down this place was.
Yeah, which is so interesting too. And I was really trying not to compare it to other movies of the Hunger Games that we see.
We're trying
so hard, but I did really find it interesting how it was more run down, but it also felt very similar to when we see District 12 with Lucy Gray. Even though there's 65 years difference, it felt stylistically similar, but poorer as time goes on.
And honestly, I feel like that's an intentional choice. I think District 12 did fundamentally change after Katniss and Peeta won. Like, I think there was...
Well,
there was a spotlight put onto District 12 that wasn't there before after Katniss and Peeta won, so I can see it changing.
Well, I'm talking about Lucy Gray, like 65 years before.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They didn't have that spotlight for those 65 years. Well, and then when they did, it changed.
Yeah, but it actually which was crazy, because it got, like, yeah, and I get what you're saying now. But it was just interesting, because, like, even stylistically, it felt very similar, which is interesting, because, like, Katniss's dress, like she describes, you know, it's like her mom's blue dress, but it felt like something not Covey would wear, but like regular people in District 12 at that time would, like the mayor's
merchant
class would wear. And so it was interesting that, like, they were so desolate and, like, removed from places that things didn't change. It just got worse. And I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing to compare to, even though, like, obviously when they first filmed this, they had no intention of it, but it was really interesting to see just how poor District 12 actually is.
But I think you see that in real life. Poorer places get poorer.
Yeah,
like, I think it's very realistic to what the reality would be of that.
Yeah. No, I agree for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. We opened up, again, in District 12, and Katniss almost immediately goes into the woods.
Yeah, well, and I mean, she does in the books, though, too.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah. And then her and Gale, you know, do their thing. And I just have to say, I feel we're not going to bring this up too many times, because we could do a whole episode on this. Grace's portrayal of Katniss is so beyond spot on, like, especially in this scene particular, because it's such an iconic scene in both shows, both movies. But
Grace does
such, like, shout out to Grace, because Hunger Games but better was, like, just perfectly done.
Yeah,
she imitated Jennifer Lawrence so well. It was like I was seeing Grace Reader on my screen.
It was crazy.
I couldn't get it out of my head, this whole scene.
It was crazy. And, you know, I like when Gale and Katniss are just sitting there and they're talking about, like, how many times their name.
Yeah, I'm close to getting a blow-up pool or whatever he says.
It was funny, because, like, I could see Grace's friend, like, doing it, but then also I was like, he did, you know, he's, like, doing a great, like, imitation of Gale.
Yes.
Because,
like, it is... If you've never seen Hunger Games but better, I need you to go watch it.
Yeah.
Like, if you like the Hunger Games at all, I need you to go watch Hunger Games but better, because it was
so good. But yeah, so they have their name. Gale has his name in there
942 times.
It's really just 42, but it was just I almost couldn't keep a straight face during that.
I know.
And it was just interesting. It was interesting to watch, like, Jennifer and Liam, like, interact and stuff, and just, like, how it was, like, and then, like, comparing it later, like, how different it was with...
It's so sibling. It's so sibling, and it drives me... I don't know how anyone was Team Gale.
Yeah, I don't
It's so sibling.
It's so sibling. So it's just, like, a really interesting introduction to the dynamic, which then was forced upon us later. But... it's fine. But yeah, so they hunt. She doesn't get her deer because Gale's stupid.
Well, to be fair, what was she gonna do? She can't sell it to peacekeepers on reaping day.
It's a whole thing. I get it. But so then she goes back to get ready for the reaping. My least favorite line in any movie ever
is tuck in your little tail,
little duck. It's horrible.
It really is so bad. And I remember it, like, the first time seeing that movie, I go, I'm cringing for her. Like, this is secondhand embarrassment. That is when I discovered what secondhand embarrassment was, because it's awful.
It was awful.
I don't know who made Jennifer Lawrence said that. It's in the book, isn't it?
It's in the book.
I don't know what Suzanne Collins was thinking. Suzanne, this is the one thing, well, we've got beef for a lot of reasons, but
this is
the only critique
of your writing
beef I have with you. Worst line ever.
Worst line ever.
And I love that it made the movie.
And it made Grace's movie.
Well, of course.
But it was so bad. But so it was really interesting because this is where we get introduced into like the Astrid, what's her name? The girl.
Primrose.
And Katniss dynamic, the three of them. And I will say, in the book, I did not feel very bad for Astrid. The movie, I did. Because I think the actress who was playing Astrid was trying.
Yeah.
And Katniss would just... And I understand why Katniss would just jump in really fast and, like, take over for her mom.
Yeah.
But I felt like the actress was trying. And you could kind of see that, like, disappointment or like hurt a little bit when Katniss would jump in with Prim.
But I think that's how it is in the book. At that point, her Astrid's getting better. Like she is stepping up a little bit more, but the damage is done.
Yeah, and it's I don't blame Katniss. I don't like. Yeah. I think Katniss's reactions are very valuable, but I think I felt bad for Astrid because I felt like she wanted to do more, and Katniss just out of trauma couldn't let her.
But I think that is a great example of not necessarily my biggest beef with the movie, but the thing that I think is the biggest difference between the book and the movie is the book is through Katniss's perspective and the movie isn't, which makes sense. I mean, it's hard to do a movie strictly from one person's perspective. Yeah. But in the book, we just hear Katniss saying, "My mom is in some coma state. Yeah, I need to step up for Prim." Where in the movie you see the mom from a third person perspective.
Yeah, which I also though think is good because like we've talked about, every first person story, and you know, like Katniss said, like Katniss's critique is that like they're an unreliable narrator, and I feel like this in tandem with the book showed the like the blind spots that Katniss has. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting, but it just made me feel bad for Astrid because you see her trying. Yeah. But she just doesn't know how to super well, and Katniss doesn't let her. And so I don't know, that was something that I just like really I noticed a lot in this
no, for sure,
opening chunk with the reaping and stuff like that. So
I thought one thing that was interesting is we don't get very much of District 12. I feel like before the reaping in the book is much longer, and it was cut down quite a bit. I will say, after reading the book, I don't love the way that Katniss gets the Mockingjay pin in the movie. I don't know why we couldn't have just had the meetings after the reaping a little bit longer and had the one with Peeta's dad and with Madge.
Yeah, see, that's one thing that I actually have, because I took notes, so these are they're all in order, and I actually do have like, that is a frustration that I had of like not seeing,
which I mean, it makes sense because you're able to see the seam. Like, I don't know how they would have fit the seam in as much without that scene, because you didn't have days and days of her hunting and selling food at the seam like you do in the book. Like, you have more time of her selling and things. And I do think the seam is important to how she like understands how to barter. She understands all of these things. Like, I do think it's important to show that, but I think they should have done it a different way.
I agree. I think there was, and I also think that we are taking, like, at least in my perspective as well, understanding the previous significance of the Mockingjay pin back in Haymitch's games. Like, it just like, it makes you want the book accurate version better.
Yeah. Because it was such a sweet moment in the book because you understood their relationship a little bit more. Katniss and Madge, you knew like who she was in relation to Katniss. So to have her come and give her this pin was really sweet because they weren't like, they knew each other and they were cordial and everything, but they weren't like super tight. Yeah. So I don't know. I think especially where the pin becomes such an icon in and of itself, like, to I think respect that original giving of it is a missed opportunity.
I agree for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so we go to the reaping. Prim gets raped.
R.I.P. Primrose.
R.I.P. Primrose. Katniss volunteers.
Yep.
Jen does such a good job.
She does such a good job. And, like, I remember I watched these, you know, whenever they first came out. I didn't love Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss. At the very, very beginning, I've come around to her, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But, like, I do remember thinking she was overacting or, like, things like that. But, no. She's totally valid in all of her decisions.
Her choices were great.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I
think that's honestly just because as a child, I didn't understand the severity of what was going on. You know what I mean? Like, I think it felt a little over exaggerated because I couldn't comprehend the level of tragedy that was going on. You know what I mean? So I think watching it as an adult, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But yeah, so this is actually where we're first introduced to Peeta as well.
And let me say, okay, I did not like Josh Hutcherson at the beginning either, because he was short. I'll say it. Him and Jennifer Lawrence are like the same height. Which
she's like an inch taller, which is just enough awkward.
Which, just for visually, I didn't love.
Yeah.
He is the most perfect Peeta in the whole entire world. I love him so much.
So much.
Love him so much.
It was great.
He's such a good actor. Like, this movie is perfectly cast.
Yeah, again, perfectly cast. But yeah, and then they are shipped off. We get very, like, unfortunately, I wish we got more of
it's so rushed.
The greetings backstage before Katniss leaves. Because I really would love to see Peeta's dad there.
Yeah,
because
that's such an important part to the story. Like, I think, again, film to movie or book to film, whatever, you can only have so much time.
Yeah.
I get it. It was already a long movie. You can't put in every scene.
Yeah.
But I do think, especially where they bring it up later, that
he buys the squirrel.
He gets brought into the story. And Peeta's parents both, like, Peeta talks about how his mom said that. Was it his mom?
It's his mom.
Yeah, his mom said that Katniss was going to win, kind of thing.
The Victor thing. It's a whole,
I think that's such an important part.
Agreed.
Of the story. I don't know.
Yeah. So I felt bad that we didn't get more of that backstory.
Mm-hmm.
I also, again, from reading this, I was sad we didn't get Haymitch falling. Like, Haymitch taking a lot of the, like, spectacle onto himself. Mm-hmm. Again, we have more context, so we can kind of fill in blanks a little bit more. But I was sad that we didn't get that, and that the first time we see Haymitch isn't until the train.
Yes.
These are just, like, little tweaks that aren't plot busters.
But the book is just so well done that I think to not have, like, what makes a great story is the little moments. So to be missing so many of those is disappointing. Or sad. I don't know. The movie's not disappointing. It's just sad.
It's just one of those things. Yeah. But I wrote down one of my notes. I want this book from Haymitch's perspective.
I want Peeta's. Yes. I was thinking about this in the middle of the games at that point. I'm like, I want Peeta's perspective of what, like, we get a little bit of him, you know, talking about how he's loved Katniss forever. Like I want Peeta's life story. Yeah. And then the games, like, what were him and Haymitch talking about? What were him and
Haymitch? What were his thoughts when? Because he talks about how he was in love with Katniss. Mm-hmm. What were his thoughts when her sister got raped and then she volunteered and then his name got pulled?
Yeah, I want to know.
I want, like, these. I want it so bad, but I was thinking I really want this from Haymitch's perspective, just because, again, I think reading Sunrise has really.
We made it so far without mentioning it.
We did. We made it 20 minutes. That's, I think, the longest we've ever gone into a whole podcast.
To not bring up.
But I think that book gave me so much empathy for Haymitch and understanding of him as a person. Well, won't get into it, but I would. So, like, I want to know what his thoughts are
when Burdock's daughter got raped.
Daughters, like both of them.
And like he realized, I'm going to have to watch Burdock's daughter die. Like,
and like, does he think, is this because of me? Was this like, was this poll to be like, was it rigged? Like, all this kind of stuff. And so it's just,
I do not want this book because I think it would end me. But
I want it so
I do want to know. But maybe just tell us. Don't give us all the heartbreaking
I don't
emotion. Oh my gosh.
I cannot. But yeah, so that's one thing. And then also when we're on the train and we're meeting Haymitch, Woody is so good.
He is genuinely, I think this is one of the best performances from an actor ever. It is so spot on, so perfectly done. He just embodies the character so perfectly.
Yeah, he's amazing at it. It's insane. Like truly, like I remember when they cast Woody, because this is about the time I was watching Cheers for the first time.
Slay.
And I loved Woody, and I was like, oh, he'll be so, I was like, it'll be
but
interesting.
He's kind of goofy.
He's goofy, but he
Cheers.
was a great actor. And so I was like, oh, well, it'll be interesting to see what he's like in this. But he was so incredible in this.
Genuinely.
And I like, from the minute he walks on screen, he is insane.
Yeah.
So I just loved that so much. So then we are on the train, we're going, whatever. And we finally get to see the Capitol. They break through and they see the Capitol. And man, they nailed what Salt Lake looks like. That's all I could think of.
I was like, man, those Rocky Mountains really broke up into Salt Lake.
So like, and it's not even just Rocky Mountains. It's like, no, these are Salt Lake Mountains.
This is the Wasatch Front. This is the Wasatch Front.
Like, they really nailed that.
Yep.
Because again,
the capital is
Salt Lake. But yeah, I thought that was so. First off, that was so funny, and I was like, "There's a lake. Frick, this is Salt
Salt Lake.
I was like, wow, this is so insane.
It's just funny.
But it was really interesting to have because we got to the Capitol pretty quick. Mm-hmm. But to see the stark contrast between District 12 and the Capitol, it was so jarring.
Yeah. Just even the electricity of the Capitol is could not be more opposite of what we've just seen in District 12. It was undeniable, the difference.
It was crazy. It was so interesting. Just the colors. Even I feel like obviously the way the cinematography was done is they had that more grayscale kind of depressing over District 12. And then they get to Capitol and they have everybody's in these vibrant colors and they have
it's just so opulent too. There's just so much of everything.
Yeah. So it was just really interesting to see the contrast of everything. And I can and I feel like Josh did such a good job of kind of the because Katniss is very always standoffish a little bit, and that's just how but he did such a good job of seeing the opulence and being in awe of it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because he comes from a wealthier side of District 12. I feel like especially Katniss probably doesn't think that this would be as interesting or as
or I feel like it's coming, I mean, rightfully so, coming from more of a place of how do they have all of this and I had nothing, where Peeta's coming from a more comfortable position so he can view it less of, I don't want to say jealousy because that's not the right word, but understanding having more, if that makes sense. Where Katniss had nothing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I agree. I thought that was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just really interesting to see how they reacted to different things, because I think Katniss was, and I think that this is Peeta and how Josh played Peeta of he understands what he's doing publicly a lot more than Katniss does, and so I think that was really interesting to see how he was at the train waving, and he's Katniss, come say hi, come wave and all that kind of stuff, and I just thought that was an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Haymitch points it out, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. Pay attention, he knows what he's doing.
I love Haymitch. Oh my gosh. It's fine. Then we are introduced. Well, then Katniss gets scrubbed down.
Girl gets cleaned. And, I mean, they don't really show it in the movie, but in the book, all her scars get repaired, everything. She gets a makeover.
She gets a makeover. And then we're introduced to the swaggiest man in the entire universe.
So I've said before that I think Lenny Kravitz is the swaggiest man ever. This man reeks swag. He is so cool. I want to meet him so bad. I feel like we'd be best friends because his swag would just leech off onto me, and I would become the swaggiest person ever because he's so gosh darn
cool.
I love Lenny Kravitz, and he is the perfect casting for Mr. Cinna.
It's so
like
true.
I love him so much.
Yeah, he walked on, and I literally wrote down, Lenny Kravitz has so much
swag.
Like, I can't.
His little earring and the gold, I love him.
4 earrings is so, like...
It's so swag.
Swag. He only has his gold eyeliner, and he's in all black.
Are
you kidding me? For the Capitol?
There is nothing swaggier than that.
There's nothing
especially because everyone is so overdressed. Like, everything is just to the tens. Just his black little fit and his earrings and his liner.
Oh, I cannot.
Talk about
it was
swag.
So cool. I was obsessed. Yeah. So yeah.
One thing that we didn't talk about before is it opens to Caesar and Seneca talking.
That's true. It does.
And that is one thing that's probably the second biggest difference I would say for the show is Seneca plays such a huge part where he's not in the book at all.
Isn't he not even named?
He's not named until Catching Fire. Like he's not in the book at all. And again, I think that's because Katniss never meets him. Like, that from Katniss's perspective, he doesn't exist, kind of a thing. So I thought that was really interesting to have him not only be the opening, but such a big part. And we see him in the Capitol so much.
So much.
And it's the same with President Snow.
Yeah,
like
he's not in the
book at all, really. Like, he is in the little interaction he has with Katniss, but he's not in the book at all. Very much.
But he's in it a lot
He's in it a lot in the movie. And I was thinking, like, I wonder if that was more because it's not from Katniss's perspective, so he would be in it more, or if it was setting up for Catching Fire.
I think it could be both.
Yeah, because he does have a big role in Catching Fire, obviously.
Yeah. And the book was out by the time the Catching Fire, the book was out by the time the movie came out.
Were all 3 books out?
I'm not sure about Mockingjay. It might have been the same time. But that was one thing that I actually really did like, that change. And I made a note of it later, but I really did like seeing...
It came out in 2010, so all books were out.
All books were out, okay. Mm-hmm. So we do get, like, all of that. But, yeah, I just thought I really did like seeing more...
Of the behind-the-scene
politics.
Especially with Snow and Seneca, because they have quite a few scenes together. To see the, like, behind-the-scenes working of the games, I do think aided a lot to the story.
I agree.
Like, I did enjoy seeing that, for sure.
Yeah, well, and I thought it was really interesting, too, because it showed that, like, I really liked being able to see how in control of the games the Capitol was.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you get a lot of that. You like, not a lot, but you start to get it in Ballad, where you see how Dr. Gall is, like, changing things as it goes. Mm-hmm. And you see, like, how Snow is helping her change things as it goes and everything. And so it was interesting to see how that continued and expanded into this. And, like, again, we didn't have this knowledge beforehand, but I did really appreciate being able to see that happen real time.
Yes, and at the same time, it's just people running these games. You know what I mean? Like, in the heat of the moment decision to make it that there can be 2 victors. Like it really was just people trying to make a show for this. I mean, obviously not Catching Fire, but, like, for this, it was really just about a good show. Yeah. And so to see the kind of behind the scenes of those decisions being made was
really
interesting.
Well, and then it was also, again, I'm sorry that I keep referencing other things, but I did really like when Katniss and Gale are talking. Gale goes, "What if no one watches? Then they can't have a game.
There's no game if no one watches."
It's just interesting because that's the whole premise of the 10th Hunger Games. Yeah. It's like, no one's watching. Yep. We have to end this. Yeah. And so it's just interesting to see how they are constantly evolving things to make people watch it more and be more engaged. And so that was just, yeah.
But it is interesting. I mean, when Gale says that, that's preposterous to Katniss. Yeah. Like, that will never happen. Yeah. And, like, and it did happen, though, in the 10 games. Like, it's just interesting that people can have have such a good understanding of what is going on and how they can do things, but that not actually be a reasonable thing to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Gale knew that this was about viewership, or, like, getting the Capitol or the districts to watch. And Katniss knew that was never going to happen because the government was so entrenched in everything. But Katniss didn't see it as the government entrenched and everything. You know what I mean? Like, it was really interesting because I feel like that scene alone shows just how propagandized everybody was. Because even Gale, who understood this, like, situation maybe a little bit better, he was still watching. There was no way of getting
out of it.
It
was really interesting. But yeah, so we're in the Capitol. I will say, missed the Avox girl so much.
That was, especially how big of a character she was in the book. I'm shocked they didn't make the movie at all. I mean, you get one little reference of Katniss saying they'll cut out our tongues.
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's it. And I also really was, one thing I did not like about the Capitol training sequences that they had is we missed Katniss's, like, inner pain.
Yeah.
Because she focuses so much on how, like, when she's at night, she's crying, like, she's not good, and you don't see
you don't get that
and
at all.
I really felt like that was a disservice to Katniss's character.
I think so too, and a disservice to Katniss and Peeta's relationship, because that's when they really get to know each other and like start forming this bond. So then when in the games, when he's with the with the careers,
it hurts even more.
It hurts because you can see that hurts Katniss, but that doesn't really make sense in the movie because they haven't spent any time together.
And he had asked not to train with her.
Yeah, like there were all of these things pointing to them not being allies in the thing, other than he did declare his undying love for her. But Katniss thought that was a thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was a disservice to the story.
I
for
agree.
Sure.
But we get the first chariot rides.
Okay, Suzanne had to have told Haymitch something. Because he can't watch the chariots.
He can't watch them.
It pans to Haymitch, like,
he does,
like, cringing, not being able to watch the chariots. Suzanne had to have told Woody Harrelson, because, I mean, Woody Harrelson's good. There's no way he's that good. Like, that was insane.
That was crazy. And, like, that's one that, like, I really hope we can get some answers on.
To be fair, also, all 3 books had come out by then, which means Catching Fire had come out, and we've gotten a snippet into Haymitch's games. So Suzanne had to have known
kind of the idea
of what. So there is a chance that she said, "Hey, your backstory.
Here you
this didn't go well.
This is not good for you.
So let's have a little moment of pain right here." You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how much of his games she had fleshed out by then.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because it was crazy. And I know that, like, as soon as like Sunrise came out, people are like, holy crap, look at this. He did so, you know. But it's just interesting because you're like, how like Woody is so good.
He's so perfect as Haymitch. Like, genuinely the best casting ever.
Truly. One thing I did love about Haymitch throughout all the Capitol scenes is he's very, like, and we saw it as well when they are talking about their skills, you know, and like Peeta is talking about how she can hunt, and she's like, he's strong. He, you know, that's when he's kind of like realizing, like, oh wait, we might actually have a chance with these two. And then if you watch, and this was so good at Woody, they go to like pour him a drink, and he covers it so they don't pour drinks for him. He stops drinking. Oh,
I didn't notice that.
I know he's when it's like serious, he's not drinking.
So good.
And if you watch like throughout the whole thing, when it matters, he is not drinking.
That's interesting. I didn't notice that.
And it was so crazy because they were pouring the drink for everybody, and they get to him, and he just covers it, and they don't pour it for him. And I was like, but I think that's one thing that I love about Haymitch in Hunger Games too, and we got it in the book, but I also think we get it even more in the movie because we do get to see the behind the scenes, is how he goes to bat for these two.
Stepped up big time,
you know, like
you see him in that opening scene, or that first scene with him in the train where he's drunk and shoving his foot all over Peeta, and which, again, Grace, you killed it. That scene in there is incredible. But like, you see him go from it's another year in the games, I have 2 kids who are going to die, to let's get this done. Like, let's help them as much as we can, get it together.
You see him going to talk to sponsors. You see him,
which I love seeing him go and talk to sponsors during the games, because you see, like, he is so actively invested in making sure he's doing everything he can to give these kids the best opportunity they have. And I think Haymitch is often, well, before Sunrise, obviously, now we know, but he's written off a little bit. Like he's
absolutely,
especially in the first book, because he isn't in it very much.
And
I mean, he is, but he isn't.
He's not. And he's just the drunk mentor.
He's just the drunk mentor who, yes, does these things and is good at playing the scene or things like that. Like him and Katniss have that relationship. But you really get to see it in the movie, which I think does a service to the following books, because he does play a bigger role in the following books.
I agree.
And so to have him go kind of from a drunk loser, which he's not in the book. I want to make that clear. He's not in the book. But you don't see his intellect as much in the book.
And I do love the idea of him being the one going to Seneca to talk about star-crossed lovers, about two people. Like, I think that shows, like, how much he's fighting for both of them. Mm-hmm. Because, again, in the book, you only hear Katniss's perspective, and Peeta says, well, I don't get many parachutes. And so you're like, oh, shoot, is he not even caring about Peeta? Yeah. But I feel like in that moment, it's like...
Which is why I want I want this Peeta's version. Because, is there anything else we want to say about before the games?
I actually have a few things about, like, training and stuff. I'll
pause my thought.
Okay. First of all, I wrote Josh is amazing.
He's
Josh
amazing.
Is so
He's
good.
Perfect, and I love him.
I literally wrote that like 4 different times, but that's a funny thing. One thing I did notice during training, when all of the tributes were all training together, Foxface spends a lot of time identifying leaves and berries. Mm-hmm. Why does she die of berries?
Because Peeta was going to eat those. I think that is such an interesting part in, like, how much Foxface, her character was survival. And a lot of survival is seeing other animals survive. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if Peeta was going to eat them, of course, they've done so well during these games. Like, of course they're safe. Yeah. Like, I think it shows how she let her guard down, because Katniss and Peeta were doing so well. Yeah. You know?
I just thought it was really...
But it is interesting.
I thought it was really interesting, because it shows her identifying everything. Yeah. And you're like, interesting.
Foreshadowing.
Interesting. I also wrote Jack Quaid looks like a noob.
Jack Quaid. Okay, when I figured out that this was Jack Quaid in this movie, I nearly peed my pants. Because what is Jack Quaid doing there?
What is he doing?
He does look like a noob. But he was a great Marvel. Like, I mean, he did a great job.
He was so good.
Which I think, I mean, he's supposed to be a noob. Well, not really. I mean, he's a career, but he's not Cato career. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no.
I think he did a great job. Like, I think he was perfect for that.
I agree. He did a great job. I just could not. There was something about it that I just was like,
that's Jack Quaid.
That's Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
And then I also wrote the perfect tree on his arm, LOL. The fact that when Peeta is practicing and he can just practice and put this perfect tree all the way up his arm.
You know, this camouflage thing will never not be the funniest thing ever. Because, you know, in the book, I get it. In the movie, it is so beyond ridiculous what Peeta can do in 5 minutes with some paintbrushes. Like, it is beyond ridiculous. Yeah. And they didn't show that in the book. He doesn't do that in the training areas. Like, it is next level artistry over there.
It was crazy.
It's so funny.
Another thing that happened is when Katniss has Peeta show off his skills of throwing things.
Not in the book.
Not in the book. Also, I was like, if I was Cato, this would not intimidate me at all.
Well, I think in a fist-to-fist altercation, having someone that strong would be alarming.
But in the way that they do it in the training,
not at all.
Not at all.
It is exactly how Grace portrays it in Hunger Games, but better when he throws that pillow. It is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But I will say, in the very end, actually, and because I made such a mental note of how stupid this was when Peeta throws the ball. When Cato and Peeta are fighting, he throws Cato over his shoulder. Yeah. He fully, and I was like, okay, now it makes more sense. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, this is
ridiculous.
This is so stupid. Why do they just have these balls that have handles to throw? I was dying. Yeah. But it was really funny. I was like, oh, okay. His strength.
It does come around in the end, but hilarious.
Oh my gosh. So, hilarious. Okay. And then I just also, before we get into the games, Stanley Tucci is
okay,
incredible.
I want to talk about these interviews because I think they were something that I kind of brushed over before, but going back and reading the book, I think it's interesting because Katniss says multiple times during this book that, what's Stanley Tucci? Caesar's there to help the tributes. Like, he is actively trying to steer the conversation in a way that helps the tributes. Like, he's there to help them get sponsors, make them look good. And I don't know if it's just because Stanley Tucci is just about the most likable man on the planet, or if, I mean, that is how Caesar is, but he did such a good job. And I feel like you could tell, like, especially with Katniss, because Katniss was so nervous, was struggling, like, him, like, cheering her on and helping her steer the conversation in a way that would present her as likable. He did such a good job.
He did. It was really good. Like, kind of no notes. He's so charismatic.
I love Stanley Tucci.
Again, okay, also, this is so niche to just us, but the... Happy hates her pillow.
I'm uncomfortable. It's okay.
But this is painfully niche, and I don't know if you'll feel it as well. But when Stanley's standing on the stage and it pans to the audience, and you get to see the whole like place that they are, it reminded me so much of the Eccles Theater, like the way that it was set up, the lights on the side. I was like, wait, they have the lights in there. And,
it's Utah.
And I was just laughing. I know it's like totally unrelated, but I was laughing hilarious. So hard because.
Utah, Salt Lake City.
Truly, if they were going to be doing something like this, where would it be in Salt Lake?
Eccles Theater.
Exactly. So I just
That's so funny.
It was just really stupid, but really funny because I just kept watching and I was like I was like, man, even though like it has been put out there that it is Salt Lake is the capital, we're never beating those allegations either. Like it is painfully obvious, but it was just really funny.
That is funny.
But he like gestured out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, the way the mezzanine in the middle and the
that's
like because it was back, and then it had 3, and I was like,
that's the Eccles.
The Eccles Theater.
That's really funny.
It was just funny, but Stanley Tucci was amazing.
He's so good.
He just did. Oh, he's so good. I just
love him.
Love him.
Yeah.
I also wrote poor Peta, so overlooked, just because with like.
He got his 8.
Scores. He got his 8, which was still a good score.
Just still a good score.
But I just felt bad, like, every time they would all be, like, it just felt like, and again, I know it's Katniss's book. But I felt bad.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting. They did show Portia more in the movie than I remembered. She didn't really have, like, a scene. They never gave her a name. Like,
but she was in
it more than I remember.
Yeah, I for sure. And I was like, okay, he at least has someone.
Poor guy. Okay, one thing before we move into the games. The fashion in this book. What is Katniss wearing? First of all, this girl is like 16. Yeah. Why do they have her in a blouse to be sitting around her apartment, basically?
With a scrunchy bottom.
With a scrunchy bottom pulled all the way down. Like, it was so 2010s.
Yeah.
I was... dying.
I was dying, and then there was one point when it was just like scanning through people in the Capitol. There was a girl with hot pink mid-shin leggings.
Queen.
And I said,
no.
I was like, I could not. I was laughing so hard. I was like, this is so freaking funny.
Yeah, for something that was supposed to be set not in the 2010s, it was very much giving 2010s.
Yeah, it was really.
It was diabolical.
It was,
but
you know, we had to mass produce the Capitol clothing. I get it. So we just went to Justice and Limited 2.
And Limited 2. Oh my gosh, Limited 2. That's a throwback.
I know. I will say also right before we get into the games, and I hated this in Thor when they did it. I hated Josh's eyebrows. And it was...
In Thor?
No, in Thor they bleached his eyebrows. And in Hunger Games in Thor they bleached Thor's eyebrows. And they bleached them here. And it's so bad.
Okay. It's not great. It's not great.
But it was very distracting throughout this whole thing.
Really?
And I feel like
I didn't notice.
I noticed it so much in his interview with Caesar. Like there was something...
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
It was... So that's why I'm saying it.
But they are supposed to look ridiculous in the Capitol.
I know, but Peeta's eyebrows were bleached before that. Like, he's supposed to just be blonde, and Josh is not blonde. And so it was just...
It's so funny to hear Josh talk about all the different hair colors he had in those movies. Every movie's a different hair color. They tried for blonde. They kind of got there, kind of didn't sometimes. It's
funny. Know. But do you know who has brown hair right now?
Jennifer Lawrence.
That means we're getting Katniss Everdeen back.
I really hope... Okay, this is just the quickest little sidebar. I hope that they do a long epilogue. Like, I hope it's not just... I mean, the epilogue was like a fine length or whatever. I hope they kind of stretch it out a little bit and give us...
I need Woody to have a really big part in this.
I love him. Okay.
I love him. Sorry.
He's perfect.
We won't get into it, but
back to
the Hunger Games. Okay, yeah. So now I'm ready for the games. How about you?
Yes. Okay, so Cinna is there to help her get into her thing, her little tube. I remember, and I've always felt this way, I didn't love how they gave her the pin, how he gave her the pin in the book, because they're allowed a token in the games. Like, it felt like it was supposed to be a secret.
Yeah, but they are allowed
they're allowed a token, so it never really made sense to me why they did that. Like, that felt like revolutionary in a way that I don't know if it was supposed to be.
Was meant to be. Well, because then also, like, if you think in Catching Fire, they all have a token. Like, Effie gets them tokens to match each other. So, like, they're allowed to have these things. So, yeah, I didn't... And he, like, hid it under her... Like, I was like...
Yeah, like, it felt like it was supposed to be a secret.
But it's not.
They're allowed a token.
Yeah, so I didn't love that. Again... If Lenny Kravitz wants to give anybody a
Lenny Kravitz slayed and had so much swag, just reeking swag.
Yeah, but it was just
I don't know. I feel like it defeated the point of what the token's supposed to be.
Well, and also too at this point, like Katniss is not. They are not even planning Katniss to be the revolutionary
at all.
Like it's she's just at this point she is just a girl going into the games. Like it's not.
It felt weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't love it either. So.
But anyways, they're in the games, they go up their tubes, and this was one thing that I've never noticed in the movie before, but I noticed Peeta looks at her and shakes his head.
Yeah.
Like, that is in the movie, which I didn't realize that was in the movie.
Because he sees her looking at the bow and arrow. And he goes, don't do it.
Don't do it. And okay, she runs off, whatever. Back to what I was going to say.
Okay.
I want Peeta's games because he immediately hooks up with the careers. Like, I want to know what the strategy was behind that and what they were thinking, why they decided. Like, I'm sure that was something him and Haymitch came up with. Like, I want to know why.
No, I completely agree.
I think it makes sense. I think it was Peeta's best chance for survival. I don't think he could do it on his own. Like, it doesn't make sense, but I want to see that conversation happen.
It went. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Because I think, obviously, Haymitch had a ton to do with that. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to know, because, and then, like, does, I'm sure he does, but does Peeta know that the careers are only keeping him there till they get Katniss? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I also think, like, his perspective behind it.
And I think it's because he knew that Katniss was a threat to the careers. Yeah. So, obviously, the careers were going to go after Katniss. They were going to go after her early so that they could just get her done with. So it was a way to protect Katniss by being with them because he is the one who saves her after the trackers. Like, it all makes sense. I just want to see them come up with that plan.
Yeah, I want to hear them talk about it.
Yes.
Speaking of the careers, I don't know if I noticed this so much until this rewatch. Why do Glimmer and Cato always seem like they're about to hook up?
Because they are.
I know they talk about that
they couple up,
but like
quickly.
They are like hardcore. I was like, this is so...
you're killing people.
I was like,
you're in the woods.
The place?
You're in the woods. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, because, like, I remember in the book it talks about how, they all
couple
up, but it just felt so much. I was like, I don't know, time and place.
I think they were trying to play up the cockiness and playfulness of the careers because
it's no big deal.
It's no big deal. They're just gonna gallivant around, kill a couple kids, and go about their day.
Yeah,
but it was overt.
It was really overt with the two of them. But it was just I don't know. It was just kind of one of those things. I also am curious, like, from a careers perspective, how alliances work. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, we've seen, like, Katniss and Haymitch and all of them of, like, she understands at some point she has to get out. Yeah. Of, like, an alliance because
the only way
there's only
one victor.
Victor. And like she's thinking about that the entire time.
Yeah.
And it seems like with the frivolousness of the careers, do they just like I just kind of would like to be in their head a little bit about like the alliances and how that all,
especially with like a pack leader like Cato or like in Ballad, there's that one girl I can't think of her name. Like there's an obvious leader of the careers So what are the other careers thinking?
Because,
like, are they just like, yeah, I'll stick around, help out, whatever. Eventually, Kato's going to kill me. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to kind of
know how that works.
That a little bit. Speaking of the career girl in Ballad, her and Kato kind of had very similar dying speeches, and I thought that was. I've never noticed that.
I haven't either, but I think it's interesting because, I mean, at the end, they're like, what I have to win, or what was the point of all of that kind of thing. And I think it does such a great job of showing that they're just kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, these are really just kids who are trying to survive and have been put in this crappy situation. They did what they thought they had to do, and it amounted to nothing, really. Yeah. Like, it's so heartbreaking.
But it was really, I, like, actively was thinking about her when Kato was talking, and I was like, this is just sad, because her speech always makes me really sad in Ballad, and so it was sad to see Kato in the state he was in, and how, like, it just was one of those things that just made me sad for them, and how it brings to light the humanity of it all, because I think, like we just met, you kind of lose the humanity of Kato and the careers, because they're just kind of frivolously running around like, you light a fire, we're gonna get you, we'll get you, ha ha ha, and then at the end you're like, no. And so again, I think it would be a really, like I think people have talked about how they want a book from a career perspective. Yeah. And I think that would be very interesting, of someone who in the end does have a heart, you know, but yeah.
I can't find her name. I'm really trying to look up her name because it's bothering me.
I don't know if we know it.
Yeah, we do.
Do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do, because
we do, and I can't think of her name.
What's his name? Flickerman, whoever the I can't remember his name. But
what is her name?
But yeah, so it was kind of interesting.
Coral.
Okay,
sorry, that was really bothering me.
Because I was like, we know her name. We know her.
Sorry.
But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting. I felt really bad for Kato in that situation. Yeah, me too. Okay, I have a question for you, because if you remember at the beginning of the training, they talk about how over 50% of you are going to just die from natural causes. You're not even going to die from people.
Yep.
Does dying from the elements mean that the capital is actually killing you? Because they start throwing the fire at Katniss.
I mean,
is like,
yes and no. I think it depends on the situation. I think they're talking more about thirst. If you don't have water, you die of thirst.
Which again,
or if you're overexposure, the capital
can turn on and off.
Yes. No, and that's why I think there are circumstances where the capital doesn't. There's circumstances where people were stupid. You know what I mean? Like, or not stupid. I mean, who's equipped to survive that? But not like, I think there's both.
Okay.
Because, I think what they meant there was more elements related, or like, because I mean, Katniss says in there it gets really cold at night. Like, if you're not able to handle that, like, you can die from that. Like, there's. But
I just thought it was interesting because.
But the capital definitely is killing people through the elements. Like, for sure.
Like, because it was like, oh, they're actively shooting fireballs at Katniss. Like, at her face. Yep. Like, they are actively trying to kill her, and I just thought that was crazy.
But again, are they actively trying to kill her, or is that their way of getting her away from the edge? Because that was the reason they did it. She was getting too close to the edge of the arena. Were they like, let's throw some fire at her to turn her around?
But they threw it directly at her.
Yeah, but
I think there's a case for it could be both at the same time. I think it's one of those things of again, I'm so sorry, but in the context of Sunrise, and we see underground all of the things that they are able to do and control and how they do it. I think it's really interesting to see Katniss and her games, and where we do get some behind the scenes of what's going on and how they're like, oh yeah, throw another fireball right now, throw it now.
Well, I mean,
you know, and I think it's just interesting to see how manipulative the capital still is, like how they really are, even though like they don't know.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, I think, like, in the book, they dry up the river to send them down to the cornucopia. Like, I don't know if that's, even with the fire, I don't know if that's them, like, trying to kill her or trying to put on a good show. You know what I mean? Like, she had to get away from the edge. Yeah. They pushed her towards the careers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's, like, obviously they said that. Yeah. But I think, like, looking at it, I think it could be both kind of things. Yeah. Like, I think
for sure. I think there's both in there for sure.
Especially, I would probably say more, especially even in, like, Catching Fire. We're not there yet, obviously.
That was rigged. That whole thing was rigged.
But I think that once they realized what Katniss could do, she did have that target from the Capitol on her back, even a little bit. But I think it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it was.
I just don't feel like. I feel like the first games, there was about the show, and that's. I mean, but, like, eventually, that's why Seneca died. Like, that's because he was just trying to put on a good show. Yeah. He didn't understand.
But it could be a pretty crazy show if Katniss gets attacked, like, gets flamed, like, fireball flamed.
No.
You know what I
mean? I agree with you. I think there definitely is some of that. But
I just think it's,
I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah, I agree. But I thought it was interesting that they made a point about it, and then all of a sudden the elements are flying at Katniss's face. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I think by the elements, they weren't talking about flying flame balls. Because that's not, like, that's fire is an element, but that's not the elements. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But, yeah, I just think it was interesting. Yeah. But, okay, so Rue dies.
Oh. One thing that, well, to go back a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
The Tracker Jackers.
Yes.
Way more crazy than I remember. Glimmer's body was kind of wild. Also, I'm going to say it. They need to redo these movies. Same actors, same everything. I don't care that everyone's older. We can suspend belief. Make these an R-rated movie. Because it was so toned down. Yeah. Especially, like, their wounds and stuff like that. Which makes sense since PG-13. I get it. Redo it, but make it R.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But does Caesar come in a vision in the book?
I don't remember.
I don't think
so because I feel like I remember that was like.
I think she was back in 12 in her visions.
Yeah, I don't remember. Jackers. I don't remember Caesar, but
I will take any extra screen time of Stanley Tucci anytime.
Yeah, give it to me. I don't even care. Yep. But I also thought it was like it was good.
This is a wig. I freaking love the Hunger Games, but better. I'm not even kidding. It's like my favorite thing that's ever happened.
But yeah, I can't. But yeah, I just really liked it.
But it was interesting to see. I mean, that's kind of the first mutt we see, even though they're not really mutts, but they're capital engineered. Yeah. How quickly and how violent they were, Yeah. And effective.
Yeah. So we have the Tracker Jackers. We then
her and Rue
team up.
And they destroy all of the career's food, which is such a baller move.
Yeah.
And then
Jack Quaid.
Then Jack Quaid stabs
Rue.
Spears Rue. And then which I think in the book or in the movie she shoots him before the spears hit Rue. I think in the book the spear had already hit Rue.
It was
and then she shot it.
It was almost like simultaneous. Yeah. Like the thing, but we don't see the spear hit Rue until after Katniss turns around.
Yeah, which is heartbreaking.
And it's so sad. And
it was really sad. I think because if you go back and watch our review of the book, I said that I didn't think what Katniss did with Rue's body was a demonstration to the Capitol kind of thing, like an act of rebellion.
Yep.
In the movie, it felt a lot more of an act of rebellion.
Well, in the movie, once she is about to stand up, she somehow finds the Capitol camera directly, looks it dead in the eye, and does the 3-finger salute, which I felt was very active,
yes.
Throw it in the face of the Capitol kind of a thing. But like you said, in the book, it didn't feel as insane.
But I also think that's because all we had was Katniss's perspective. In the movie, we see riots start to happen in 11. Yeah. Which, obviously, that makes sense why they would happen. I mean, that was tragic what happened. And, it felt, we got a much bigger, more complete picture of that which makes sense why the Capitol was starting to get really annoyed with Katniss.
Yeah, no, I agree. So it was just, yeah, Rue died.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. And then we're on the hunt for Peeta down by the river.
Yeah.
And she's following the trail of blood.
King.
Because that's not noticeable at all. And then all of a sudden,
the greatest moment in any movie ever, we have beautiful man, little Josh Hutcherson, lying on the ground with the most perfect rock camouflage I have ever seen.
Ever.
Like, it is insane. Remarkable.
And he just grabs her ankle.
And opens those beautiful little eyes of his. And there he is.
And we find our Peeta Malark, and he's not doing well.
Brother is not doing well.
His leg, not good.
And in a span of about 8 hours, because not weeks like it is in the book, I was a little disappointed they compressed this as much as they can. I mean, it makes sense because there was a lot of kind of sitting around and waking up and sleeping. And,
which, again,
if you're in a time crunch, that makes sense to get rid of.
But in the book, it's really important.
That's the thing. I just feel like it not that it cheapens their love story, but it doesn't allow for the full, like, complexity of it.
Yes.
Because at the end, they've spent, like, 2 days together, maybe. Like, you're supposed to believe that it's this great love story. Or, like, I can understand why people who have only read or seen the movie don't believe their love story as much. Because there's so much in the book.
Well, yeah, and I think that, and I wrote this down, I feel really bad for Peeta in the way that it's portrayed in the movie, because it feels like, and I think we're missing so much context from training and them just being in the cave, but it comes across in the movie of just Katniss and Haymitch playing this secret little plot to get them to survive, you know, because Haymitch sends the broth and it says, "You call that a kiss?" You know? And it just kind of made me sad, because even though we know that she's actually really falling in love with Peeta, like, we know that, but she's confused, like, we just don't see that really.
Mm-hmm. And it comes across as that Peeta had no active role in this at all, where he was a big player in it. Like, it would not have worked without Peeta. First of all, starting the whole star-crossed lovers thing. Like, that changed the game.
Yeah.
Initially. But, like, he was attacked by Cato. He survived, like, that whole time. Like, I think you lose a lot of Peeta's grit.
Yeah.
That he kind of gets played down to just be the little boy. Yeah. Which makes me sad, because there is so much more to Peeta than is shown.
Yeah, I agree. And there's so much more to their interactions, their relationship. And it just really made me sad that it was like, it just felt like it was more of the game than, and let's be completely honest here. Maybe that's part of it. We know that like, yes, we're in the games at this point, but also we're still dealing with a lot of Capitol propaganda.
Yep.
And we're kind of dealing with that. And like, people in the Capitol really, not people in the Capitol, but like other victors, and we'll get into this, don't believe it because of what it was. And, you know, maybe that's part of the reason why we get the perspective we do of it, because it doesn't feel as genuine as it is in the book.
Yeah.
And it just kind of makes me sad for Peeta.
Yeah. Me too.
Like, and I think, like, I wrote down, I was like, I think Haymitch actually believes that this is like a relationship that could be like, he fully sees the whole thing, because I think he understands Katniss so fundamentally that, like, better than Katniss understands herself.
For sure.
But it just like made me sad that it just felt like they were just playing, like, stringing Peeta along to make to survive, essentially, which is, you know, they needed to, because whatever, but I just felt really bad. And Peeta is so sincere.
He is, when he's telling his little story about how he saw her and she shot her hand up to sing and he just fell in love with her right there. Like, it's just So sweet. And I think, and that story gets told over a week or so in the book. Like, it does get stretched out. But I did think it was sweet where this was a condensed time. Peeta thought he was going to die. Like, it was something he had to get out. Like, it was really sweet, I think, in the book. Or in the movie. The way they... I would have preferred the book version, but the way they did it was still really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, like, kind of in that, too, like, you know, and then they end up, like, he holds her while they sleep, and I think it's like, she actually seems to relax in that.
Yep.
And we don't see that ever in the games until that moment, and I think that's why it makes me sad that, like, it feels like a game a little bit between Haymitch and Katniss, because I'm like, no, like, if you see, like, these little things... This is
real love.
This is real. Like, they really do love each other, and so it just... But Josh played it so...
He's just so sweet. So good. And so, like, endearing. He's just the best. He's the best Peeta ever.
Ever. So then they get the medicine from the... whatever it is.
The cornucopia. Thresh saves Katniss. Yep. Which was sweet. I think I'm glad they kept those kind of little moments in, because it does show the humanity of the tributes a lot. And, like, how, yes, like, this is a game to the Capitol. This isn't a game to the tributes. You know what I mean? Like, this is life for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I thought it was just really sweet.
Yeah.
Thresh is like, just this
once for Rue.
And it was so sweet because he saves her from Clove, and it's just...
Yeah, who's a piece of work.
Can't stand Clove.
Clove.
Oh my gosh. But so they, you know, his leg gets good enough that he can walk.
Mm-hmm. Which, it's interesting because in the book, Peeta loses his leg.
Yeah.
And I know he gets cut by Cato at the cornucopia, but I don't know, is it the same leg? I think it's the same leg.
I think the medicine heals it enough that he can keep going. But then when they go to, like, clean them and do whatever after the games, they can't. They can't. Like, it's not.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's what I've always interpreted it as. But then we get the mutts, and this might be an observation just because we've watched this recently. The mutts looked like freaking Scrappy Doo.
They look like Scrappy Dappy Doo. they look like Scrappy Dappy Doo.
When he's got his little, like,
Island of Monsters or whatever that's called.
Monster Island.
Scooby-Doo.
Like, they look, the live action Scooby-Doo.
When he is becoming bigger, not fully big, but becoming bigger. That is what these mutts look like.
So I'm not crazy for that, because I was like, and I think I really have that in my brain because we watched Scooby-Doo like 2 weeks ago.
But I think the mutts, where they didn't include the part about them being tributes, which is still crazy, it didn't have the same effect as it did. Like, it wasn't, it didn't have the psychological effect that it does in the book.
Yeah.
Which, fine, we've had plenty of it throughout the whole book.
We've had a lot of psychological torture.
I'm not saying there's a shortage of that, but I do think it added to Katniss's state of mind in that moment.
Yes.
That we don't see in the movie.
I agree.
So I don't know. I think it's again, I want an R-rated version of this movie, because I do think that's something you would have to put in an R-rated version. But so I don't know. I think
it took away from it.
Yeah. Like, if you didn't know, it was a great scene, but, like, I think knowing that those are supposed to be tributes, it was missing an element.
It was missing an element, which our beloved Grace did do
executed
correctly.
Perfection.
Book
Absolutely.
accurate.
Yep.
Book accurate
mutts.
Tribute mutts.
Yep.
And then we get onto the cornucopia, and Peeta and Cato and everybody's kind of going at it. We have Cato's big speech. Makes me sad.
It's so sad. Okay, and shout out, I don't know who played Cato. Shout out to this kid who played Cato, because he has more screen time than other tributes, for sure, but he doesn't have tons of screen time. He was so effective in that scene. Like, he did such a great job, like, with the blood and on him, and, like, he's basically in tears, like, saying, you know, just kill us both. I'm dead anyways, kind of a thing. And then him being like, no, I can still win this. Like, it was so heartbreaking.
It was
So shout out to the kid who played Cato.
Cato. And then so then Cato falls into the mutts, and Katniss does deliver.
Well, so I think it's interesting, and I didn't notice that they put this in the movie before, but Peeta does tap on his hand. Like,
have you never noticed that?
No, I've never noticed that. I know it's in the book, but I don't know. It's a sad thing. I probably wasn't watching it that closely. But Peeta repeatedly taps on his hand to give Katniss the idea to shoot the hand, which I think I was glad they included that scene because they have kind of neutered Peeta's character a little bit, like to have him to show that he was thinking, he was actively participating, like he wasn't just being thrown around. Yeah, like I did appreciate that. And then his death is Cato's death is really one of the most tragic deaths in the book, I think, in the story.
It was really and I did not realize till this watch through how similar it is to Finnick. Which I don't even want to get to, but it made me so...
Mockingjay is going to be a tough talk, let me tell you. That's going to be a rough one.
But it made me really sad because Katniss has to deliver the final blow both times. And it's a mercy killing, which is heartbreaking. And but I didn't even realize how much you see Cato down there, like with the mutts coming over him. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Which, in the book, that scene goes on a long time. Yeah. Like, Cato's down there with the mutts for a long time before Katniss is able to get a shot on him, basically. Because, and they have to sit there and listen to it, and I'm so glad that they shortened it. I really am. Like, I really don't think that was one that we needed in there.
You're like, I don't want
So, I'm glad they shortened that, and it just, it was so sad.
It was really sad.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden, it's daylight, and they announced that...
The rule change has been revoked. There can still only be one victor.
And they have nightlock berries.
And I hate how they do this in the movie. I hate how this is a very, very common critique of this movie.
As it should be.
It should be. In the book, they stand back to back, take a few steps, and then count. So they aren't facing each other, which is such a beautiful representation of the trust that they have built over these past couple of weeks.
Which we've
lost in the movie because they shortened it to, the games are only 4 days or something like that. They really, really shortened the games.
Yeah.
But they face each other, or they have their backs to each other and then count, knowing that they're both going to take the berries. Because if one of them didn't, the other person wouldn't see, and then they would become the winner. But they had so much trust in each other that they didn't.
They were going to do it together.
But in this one, they're facing each other, and they're going to take them. And I feel like I didn't love also, in the book, it goes to the absolute last moment where they are about to pour these berries in their mouth. It really... Before they are like, oh, just kidding, both of you win.
Yeah.
They cut that a little bit, and they jump in sooner.
Yeah.
Which I just think it kind of cheapens that sacrifice a little bit.
Because it makes it seem like they're,
It makes it seem more like a bait.
Yeah.
Of the Capitol. We'll do this. Are you really going to let us? Yeah. And that wasn't the case. They were going to both die.
That was their resolution. So I agree. I didn't love it.
But at the end of the day, it's not the end.
It's just one of those things. Yeah. So, but again, I think if you don't have the backstory of the trust that they've built, and you don't have Katniss's thoughts as they turn around, everything like that, cinematically it makes sense for them to be like that. But I digress on that one.
Yes. But and then we lose what might be the most important scene of the whole freaking book, which is them being picked up and Katniss losing her freaking mind when Peeta is separated from her. Again, I just feel like they've cheapened the love story. It's developed so well in the book that to be missing out on these things is
guys,
this is the love story. I don't know.
Yeah,
but she loses her mind as they separate her. She's banging on the glass. They eventually have to sedate her, because she still is in the mindset of these are capital mutts who are gonna kill Peeta. They've taken Peeta away. I
need Peeta.
I need Peeta.
Yeah.
It just, I feel like that's such an important part to their love story, because even though Katniss can't really recognize it yet, it's so obvious she loves him. Yeah. It's so unbelievably obvious.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it cuts directly to Haymitch saying, they're mad. You gotta play this up.
Yeah. And it was so interesting because he was again, I think we still have sober Haymitch at this point. And as we know, he knows the impact when you piss off the Capitol. And so you can, Suzanne had to have told him. Like, I know that, like, it's a big deal. Like, in anybody's perspective, this is a big deal.
But especially to Haymitch.
From Haymitch. Like, she had to have, like...
Yeah, and there's so much sincerity in his voice, because you don't see Woody Harrelson. It's just his voiceover.
It's...
Like, there's so much sincerity and so much, like...
deep understanding and pain about...
And concern.
Yeah, of, like, hey...
This is bad.
This is very bad.
Yeah.
And I just, Suzanne had to have told him.
She had to have
because
told him.
He plays it just so perfectly that I don't know if you can do that without knowing.
Yeah. Which, okay, this is kind of off topic, but I'm really interested in the reasoning why she came out with Ballad first. Because I think... canonly, we've had way more about Haymitch than Snow. So I wonder if she had Haymitch's story developed for a longer time. But I think giving us that backstory of Snow makes Haymitch's games so much more devastating.
Yeah.
But I do think that's interesting that we have all of these sneak peeks kind of Haymitch's games where we don't really have any of Snow. So she could have completely written Snow afterwards, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
where we have snippets of Haymitch, but she came out with Ballad first.
I think Ballad is critical to
for sure
to Haymitch's games.
Yeah.
I don't think Haymitch's games would have been as
devastating
or had as much of an impact if we didn't understand Snow more fundamentally, because we do, I feel like Snow is such an amazing villain, especially at the end of Mockingjay, where he's the lesser of the two villains at that point in a way. I
would say he's the more predictable villain at that point.
I think he's...
Which I think is why Coin is so scary, because we know Snow.
We know, yeah. And
Coin is actively manipulating. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's...
Well, and I think that where Snow knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Coin is doing it based on the idea of good, but you have Snow who's like, I'm not Coin's very, and I think the line from Snow of, like, I'm not wasteful is so important, because he's so strategic in everything that he does, where Coin doesn't have that same level of strategy that he does. And I think we had to understand where Snow came from and how he grew that strategy in order to understand, like, the complete loss and devastation of Haymitch in his games. Because Haymitch's games are so strategy based.
Yeah.
And everything, like, with Snow, how he interacts, like, everything is so strategy.
I think the main difference between Snow and Coin is actively using good to manipulate for power. Like, she is trying to gain power by manipulating the good. And where Snow is trying to maintain power by crushing the good. You know what I mean? And I do think manipulating the good, like, I do think Coin is the worst. But I think we see Snow kind of trying to manipulate the good, but never really able to get in good graces with people long enough to create those relationships. And the ones he is able to crumble pretty quickly. Like, I think it does show, like, right off the bat that I think Snow's smarter than Coin, because he's able to do it through sheer, like, grit. Like, he doesn't need people in the same way that she did. And I think that's having that backstory to the absolute destruction of everything that Haymitch holds dear and kind and lovely in his heart is like just devastating.
I also think you need I think it helps so much with Snow's backstory, not Snow's backstory, but Haymitch's story, with understanding that Snow is very well versed in, like, Covey and District 12. Like, I think you just need...
I definitely think it makes sense. I just wonder at what point she decided...
switched. Or maybe.
Yeah. Which, I mean, well, honestly, I don't know if she ever was planning on putting out more books after Mockingjay. I think obviously The Hunger Games has become such a big phenomenon that the fans have been begging for more books for a long time, which was a mistake. But
no, we made other mistakes.
Yeah, sorry, Tom Blythe, you're hot.
We made other mistakes, not asking for more. It was the way we asked.
Asked for more,
and who we asked for more from.
You cast Tom Blythe as Snow, okay? You can't blame us. You can't blame us. He's hot, okay?
You can't blame us. He's too good.
He's too good.
But
I also, again, not in the book at all, but I love the scene of Seneca with the berries.
Yes.
Because that is so Snow. Like, that is so poetically Snow. Yeah. And I think it really gave us a good look into what was coming in Catching Fire.
I fully agree. I think, and I, like, my literal last note for this is Snow is so freaking good.
So good.
Because, one thing, Donald Sutherland is amazing.
Hats off.
The fact that he found the script, read it, and then asked to be in the movie.
King
behavior, perfect casting, just everything about it was so perfect. Yep. And like we said, I loved that we got more Snow in this, even though, like you said, the berries with Seneca is so Snow, but like we don't even know it fully yet.
Yeah.
But we just know that, like, oh shoot, because the whole time Snow is talking to Seneca, of like.
Basically being like, don't do this. Like, you are going to mess this up because you don't understand the power of the one kind of a thing, where obviously Snow did, like, what Lucy Gray did, what Sejanus did. Like, there is so much power in one person, and Sejanus just couldn't, or not Sejanus, Seneca couldn't really wrap his head around that, and Snow was consistently telling him,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Then Seneca continued to do it. It was so poetic. I loved it.
It was so good. And it was just perfect, like, peak Snow. I mean, he just loves to poison people in little ways,
He loves a poison. He loves a symbolic poison.
Like poetic justice of like, hey,
this means something to you. I'm going to kill you through this. Like,
but it's so good. But I think it really does. It sets him up so well for Catching Fire and Mockingjay.
Yeah,
because
it really does.
Because I think that's one thing that, like, is so good about Snow as a villain, is he's so strategic. And again, like he says, and he's talking about it in the context of life, of not being wasteful. Like, he's not wasteful. He understands the value of life.
Yeah.
And so he's not wasteful.
He's not afraid to kill, but he's not wasteful.
Yeah. But I think that in general, he's just not wasteful with things. He's like, well, this Seneca has served his purpose. He is done. He's going to go in the way that
serves him right,
kind of a thing, and is just very strategic and understanding of he just is so smart.
He really is.
And I think that we really start to see that, because you see it in so many other places throughout the rest of the books of, like, he's sending a message in a very specific way.
Yep. Even the White Roses, very specific.
Exactly what I was thinking, like.
And I do think that was a big win in this movie, because he's not in the book at all, really, which, again, makes sense for the book. But they added, especially knowing what was to come with Snow, it was really important to lay that groundwork. Yeah. And they did it in such a great job.
So well. And so I just think that I don't know. Snow is he's such a good character. A good character, a good antagonist to everything. And
well written and well executed. Not good.
Not good.
You know what I mean.
We're really not trying to get this again, Suzanne.
We get it, okay?
We get it.
We get it. We read Sunrise. We get it.
We get it. He's not a good person.
Snow. We hate him. You just did a good job writing him,
He's just a really good antagonist. Like, he's a really well done antagonist. That's how we should say it, I guess.
Suzanne,
don't do it. That's all. But yeah, I just think it was really, really well done. There are, and then they have to figure out what to do back in District 12. They're kind of they land, and they're like, what do we do next? And it ends with them holding hands, basically.
Yep. Which is interesting. You don't really see the dissolution of their relationship like you do in the book. Like, they don't have that moment of, like, or Katniss doesn't have that moment of, like, I don't. She doesn't grapple with her feelings for him, really, in the movie.
No, yeah.
Which, again, does a disservice to their love story.
Yeah.
But, I'm interested to see, because I can't remember how Catching Fire starts. Like, how they're...
Yeah.
I know their relationship isn't good, but I feel like we've missed...
A lot. Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, overall...
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Yep.
Loved it. Yeah. I don't know.
This next one's going to be tough.
So
I'm scared.
This is going to be a really rough one. We are reading Catching Fire right now.
Yep.
Our episode's coming out in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So if you haven't been reading, hop on that.
I don't want to read it.
In about a week, maybe a little less, we'll be posting another form for Catching Fire, and we'll be putting things on our stories and stuff. So make sure you're following us on social media. It's just 80 Diaries Podcast everywhere, on TikTok and on Instagram. So go follow us there so that you can submit your comments for Catching Fire, because this book is insane.
There's a solid chance this might be a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
Because
we debated with the hour 41, but okay, here's the thing. If we do 2 parts, they're not going to be weeks apart. We'll post one day, we'll post the other one the second day, because we're not trying to make you guys wait. We're not trying to be
annoying.
But a 2.5-hour episode
seems a little
excessive. So
we're thinking we'll just
see how long the episode
plays out.
But Catching Fire is honestly, okay, so right after I read Sunrise, I went in to rewatch the movies, watched Hunger Games, got 20 minutes into Catching Fire and had to stop because I was uncontrollably sobbing.
Yeah, she called me sobbing.
So this is going to be tough.
This is a rough read.
But we're so excited. We're so excited. So go follow us on social media, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on your preferred streaming platform, just 80 Diaries Podcast everywhere. We'll see you Friday for our normal episode. Yep. And we love you guys. We love reading Hunger Games with you and watching with you.
Thanks for letting us do it.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.